Guardians offense take them to a big early lead against the Astros, but the bullpen gave it up, and the decisions that followed didn't put them in any better position to win this game.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into an extra innings edition of Locked On Guardians. It is Wednesday. Guardians had a nice offensive start against the Houston Astros on Tuesday, trying to win their second game in a row. The bullpen, the management decisions that followed, not so pretty.
I think we see proof of vote betting on games. If you put Jonathan Rodriguez in with the bases loaded in the ninth, that's worse than any of the pitches Luis Ortiz threw.
That's rough. That is rough. This is Locked On Guardians, the only place for you to get Cleveland Guardians talk every single day, for the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. We're doing all three of those things today, and appreciate you guys being here every day with us. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's show, we'll get into the high school hitters to know in the MLB Draft. We'll talk about some injuries and some minor league rehab updates. Not good, some good. And we'll talk about the Guardians offense today, led by Brayan Rocchio. What is happening? The Guardians offense 2 days in a row has come to the rescue. The pitching, not so much. But, I thought when the offense came around, of course, when the offense comes around, the pitching starts to go sideways. Before we get into that, Jeff, I'm Justin Lada. I have been covering the Guardians minor league system since 2007, providing prospect analysis and scouting reports, and I'm also a lifelong Cleveland Guardians fan.
Grand Slam.
Ángel Martínez?
Ángel Martínez, Grand Slam.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I know I clapped near the mic. I can't help myself right now. Bit of unprofessionalism here. I think you'll all appreciate it. Someone should timestamp that below if it doesn't make our timestamps. You could just see on my face my anger about bringing in Jonathan Rodriguez in that situation, and then Ángel, thank you. But boy, oh man. So I'll let you get back to talking, but I had to interrupt for the Grand Slam. I mean, it'd be a disservice if I didn't.
No, that's unbelievable. I mean, we were debating when to start the show because it was getting hairy there, because you had Hunter Gaddis struggling, you had Jacob Junis coming in, and I'm like, well, if they go to extras, they're losing because they don't have the juice to out-compete the Astros in extra innings. They had a hard time just getting this deep into the game and keeping it where it was. But then...
Well, we'll get into it. We better finish our starter stuff, and then we'll get into this ridiculous game. You do your intro, I'll do my intro, and then I
did mine while you were celebrating the
Sorry, I just got so distracted there. I am Jeff Ellis, one of your two co-hosts here, lifetime Guardians fan. I used to write about baseball at Scout and 24/7 before both of them decided they didn't want baseball anymore, where I was a national writer. And then I've been here for nearly 1,500 episodes, not 1,500 episodes. A little bit of a difference there. Locked On Guardians. I want to thank everyone for making today's episode your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. Sorry, I'm like flustered. I'm excited. I lost place. And a big shout out to one of our everydayers, Thomas Fisher, in the comments, who was talking about how he's been an everydayer since the fall and how much he's enjoying this show. So I hope you're enjoying it today, Thomas. Comment and let us know.
Yeah. Everybody's tuning in, looking for a winning streak. Yeah, we started to record. We were like, all right, yeah, Junis, they're not going to make it through extra innings. And then Josh Hader, Will Wilson, we were going to come on here and bash Will Wilson. He got the bunt down. They walked Jose, and then Josh Hader, I think, set up I want to say it was intentional walk to Santana to
it's just weird
get to Martinez for double play.
Why not? I would think so, but at the same time, it's like, why not just do why waste 4 pitches? Like, he's already thrown 1 inning.
Yeah.
Like, just have him go intentional walk. Then he gets first base, and it keeps the arm a little more fresh. Like, for a guy who's already pitched, like, and this is what we've talked about all year with this team. It's like trying to extend those margins is where they fall flat on their face, right? Like today, Matt Festa, they had him get more than 3 outs, and after that is when he really had, it got worse. Hunter Gaddis 3 days in a row, trying to extend those margins, and they fall flat on their face. Today we were lucky. Houston tried to extend that margin with Josh Hader, and Ángel Martínez made him pay. There's no way around it.
I was going to say, who made the worst decisions today? Vote with the Festa and the Will Wilson, the Jonathan Rodriguez thing, or Was it Joe Espada keeping Josh Hader in too long? Because we know, and historically, Josh Hader does not like pitching that long. He does not have a whole lot of experience when it comes to going multiple innings, doing all those things. So really, who made the worst call there? Like if after he walked Santana, I probably would have gone and got Hader. Easy to second guess, but
I mean, yeah, I guess the thing too. I mean, I wouldn't have left Hader in there for Ángel Martínez. I got to be honest, because
that's what I'm saying.
Martinez
it's like followed. Martinez? No, it was Rodriguez after.
Yeah, I don't care about Rodriguez. Like anyone can get him out right now, but Martinez has huge splits, like huge splits, and leaving a guy in there to try to get a sixth out, I believe, against it, like that's the point. You go get a right-handed pitcher. I don't know. Maybe they don't have one. I know they brought in Caleb Ord. Isn't Ord another lefty? I could be wrong.
They do have 3 lefties in their bullpen. Houston does. We saw Stephen Okert. I think
Ord is a righty, so they could have gone to Ord earlier.
They have Hader. And they have Stephen Okert, and then somebody else. But they've got a lot of lefties out there. So yeah, I don't know who they would have gone to. They just brought in. Trying to say just brought into this game.
Ord.
They just brought Caleb Ord in. So yeah, I would have brought Caleb Ord in.
Colton Gordon, who started against Cleveland and beat him earlier this year, I want to say, was the other lefty in the pen. But yeah, it's
Caleb Gordon started yesterday.
Did he start yesterday?
Charles Gordon, you're thinking Charles Gordon. He started Monday. Yes, he started Monday.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting myself confused.
But, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, you had a nice early start. Brayan Rocchio, 3 hits in this game. Had a couple hits the other day. I mean,
he's changed.
He's done it. I mean, let's hold off and
a small degree. I'm not saying he's going to be a star, but I did text you when he was in AAA, and we're seeing some of it here that he in AAA this year. I don't know if it was Betances or who it is, but the same thing happened. It's probably Betances. Same thing happened with Gabby Arias when he got sent down a year ago. Is like he's really pushing these guys to get the ball in the air more. And Rocchio had the highest fly ball rates of his career once he got sent down. So, you know, I don't think he's going to be a power threat, and I'm not even sure if he's going to be ever, approaching an average regular. But I do think some of what happened in AAA has helped. Development is not linear. We say it all the time. Was I being maybe too harsh on a young guy? Potentially. We'll have to see what happens. But we've also talked about sometimes you need a hot bat. You don't need Mr. Right. I say you need Mr. Right now. And right now, Rocchio is doing that.
Rocchio, yeah. He's 3 for 4 with the home run and a double. He had a double yesterday. And he's really hit the ball well the last couple of days. Give him that. I mean,
yeah, like your 3 stars are easy. It's Jones, it's Martinez, and it's Rocchio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Cantillo was really good up until the 5th inning. I thought Cantillo was really good. He had 11 swings and misses on his changeup.
He was solid.
Yeah,
he just needs to build it up.
Yeah, he's not quite back in terms of pitch count yet. Like, obviously, he spent a lot of time as a reliever early in the season, and then he went back down to AAA to try to extend his innings count, or his pitch count, and then he had some shoulder soreness or elbow soreness, something. He got shut down, so he's still working his way back up. So, and honestly, what he did against the Cubs last week on less than a couple hours' notice because of the Ortiz situation, and then this game against the Astros. And I realize they don't have Jeremy Pena, they don't have Yordan Alvarez, but this is still a very good Astros team, and he pitched really well. So I'm really, baseball a lot of times is you always worry about guys getting hurt and how you going to do that. Sometimes it's an opportunity for somebody else. Gabriel Arias was doing pretty okay, and then he kind of hit the wall. Rocchio comes up, he's playing well. He's taking advantage of an opportunity. And Joey Cantillo, with Ortiz being on a administrative leave or whatever, is taking advantage of his opportunity. That's what you want guys to do. You want them.
Got Trammell on the other side doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Trammell's had so many opportunities. I mean, he was with the Yankees last year. He's been with the Mariners.
He was part of the Bauer deal.
Bauer deal. Yeah, he was.
Cleveland wasn't interested, so they flipped him to the Padres in that deal. And then he was part of the Andres Munoz deal. He was another part of that infamous Austin Nola trade.
Sure was. All right, we'll continue to talk about this Guardians extra inning affair with the Astros. We'll talk about some injuries and rehab updates in the minor leagues, and we'll also get to some high school hitters to know for the Guardians for the 2025 MLB Draft in today's show. Stay tuned for more of that good stuff.
If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency. I know, I mentioned before, when that HVAC goes out, I got 2 young kids. If the first person who I call does not pick up, guess what? I move to the next person. I don't have the ability, the time, or the patience to wait, and neither do your customers. That's why having a reliable business line is so important, and that's why you need Open Phone, which makes me want to go ring, 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 Open Phone. If you're a parent, comment below because you know exactly what I mean. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. They have an AI agent even to handle those after business hours to make sure that every important call has someone to communicate. Open Phone is offering Locked On Guardian Show listeners 20% off their first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's OPENFPHONE.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have an existing number with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Again, that's Open Phone with a P. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Thank you, as always, for being here with us every day where we are free. Locked On Guardians, wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you're auto-downloading on audio. Anywhere you're getting podcasts, you never miss an episode. Make sure you're also hitting the bell on YouTube so you never miss reaction videos, whether it's breaking news, whether it's a game reaction, of course, episodes, bonus episodes, all that kind of good stuff. So make sure you're checking all that out. All right. Guardians are still 2 outs away from winning this game. Clase is still in because honestly,
1 out away.
now they're just 1 out away. Because honestly, they just had to piece this together with the bullpen because of Cantillo not getting super deep, and then the Festa thing. I mean, Festa was working for the 3rd time in 5 days. Hunter Gaddis was working for the 3rd straight too. I know. Cade Smith had some issues in this game. Eric Sabrowski was really good. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I don't know why they pulled him. He's because let's be honest, Sabrowski to me is not just a situational lefty. He's good enough to get out both. We've seen him.
Yeah, I think they're just being careful with him because of the injury. As it would be my guess.
But he can face 3 batters. Let him come back out. Like it's since he's already out, you can pull him at any time.
Yeah,
it's the same problem. Like you don't have Sewald today because he pitched yesterday, coming back from injury.
Right.
So I think Heron is the only other option you had.
And Hammond hasn't pitched on Saturday, which is really strange. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I mean, this is not a very left-handed heavy Astros lineup, and Heron really kind of, I don't want to say he's a matchup guy, but he's been struggling this year. So it was a tough one to piece together. And I didn't love the Festa 3 times in 5 days. I don't love Hunter Gaddis 3 days in a row. They need to get Nick Enright back up here. There's really not a lot of options. Give Jacob Junis credit in the 9th inning, because I will say I didn't see Jacob Junis getting this game to extra innings for them, because
I thought the Trammell pitch was potentially out. And I think the other killer, too, it's the problem is right now you got Sewald and Sabrowski who have limitations in your bullpen. And then for a while, they had to really ride the pen because then you had Cade Smith who couldn't pitch for over a week. So the bullpen's just exhausted.
A weird decision. Yeah,
and they need, they need some starters to go deep. Tanner didn't go 5 yesterday, right? He went 4 2/3. And then you got, and Cantillo's done a great job for what they've asked him to do. You couldn't ask him to do too much more, but
absolutely
it does. And that's ball game, strikeout, swinging to end it.
All right, guys, 2 in a row. 2 in a row.
Hunter Brown. That's a funny thing. Like if Bo Naylor doesn't drop a ball, they beat Tarek Skubal and Hunter Brown, maybe the top 2 pitchers in the American League. Well, they don't beat Skubal, but they win a game that he pitches in. So let me clarify.
Yes,
that. You know, like for all their struggles, they nearly just knocked off the 2 top pitchers in baseball.
I mean, 2 of them in the AL. Those 2. Yeah. I mean, one of those 2 guys is. I mean, I think the Skubal's pitched in the All-Star game, but Hunter Brown is just every bit as good as Skubal.
And I gotta say,
he's fantastic.
One of the big things,
6 runs off Hunter Brown tonight.
I know, but one of the big things too, to me, just in this game is, I don't know if he's the greatest guy for that number 2 spot, but having someone like with Nolan Jones, he only had 3 plate appearances. He got on base all 3 times, and then Jose had someone on base. And when guys are on base, it makes it easier for the hitter. Because the pitcher, there's some focus, there's some added stress.
And they can't pitch around Jose.
Yeah, and then Jose did damage with Nolan Jones on base. So that was huge in this one.
2 home runs in the series, so Jose started to pick it back up.
Yep.
Yeah, like this could have been so much easier, too, because you brought in Will Wilson to pinch hit for Nolan Jones. I don't care if it's a lefty. Well, like, it'd be fine if Will Wilson was Brandon Guyer or Ryan Rayburn. I'd say, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. But Will Wilson is not a major league player. You can't keep pinch hitting him just to get the platoon advantage. Now they're lucky it worked out. Again, this is almost a game where results beat process, right? Because Will Wilson, Jonathan Rodriguez, all bad decisions. Matt Festa 3 times in 5 days. Hunter Gaddis 3 days in a row. Now, I will say, in fairness to the Hunter Gaddis thing, you had to piece this game together somehow. So, like, someone was going to have to pitch who you maybe didn't want to, right? But you had to. And Gaddis was that guy. The Festa thing is just, I don't know, like, Stephen Vogt thinks Matt Festa's Brian Shaw.
Well, I mean, he had David Fry come out and hit against Josh Hader. But it's also interesting, too.
That's the only way that works, though. Like, I'm not... David Fry probably shouldn't be on the roster right now, but if he is going to be on the roster, that is the situation you want to do it in, because there's another situation that makes sense.
One thing I'll say real quickly on this, though, is it is kind of interesting. I think in both cases, both for Wilson and the David Fry situation, the thought process was that they were going to get better defense. I think that's 2 days in a row now they've replaced Naylor late in the game for Hedges. Since Naylor's drop ball, they've replaced him in the ninth the last 2 games. So that speaks volumes right there. That's not something they've done all year, that they're saying, like, no, we need a defensive replacement for you. That's got to be galling.
And there is a modicum of...
And with Wilson, I think they think
the
that...
platoon advantage there, too.
I think it's just... I think it's defense.
Versus Hader is not a good matchup.
No. But I think it's, they did it yesterday for defense. It felt like, hey, we're gonna pull him for defense anyways. And I think they think Martinez is better than Jones in center field. So the shift there allowed them to shift everyone over. So I will say there was probably more defense thought than offensive thought. But I don't know. I just hate Nolan Jones is people have said I like him too much or I put too much faith in him. He had a good game today. I would like to see that guy stay in when he's having a hot day and see if he can continue doing positive things.
But again, if you had a guy in your roster that crushes lefties,
I agree.
If you had David Fry a year ago, I would be 100% on board with that. But you don't. Will Wilson isn't that guy. Jonathan Rodriguez, he can't hit a tennis ball, let alone any pitcher. I don't know. Can he even hit a batting practice machine? Like, I want to watch him take batting practice. I'm not convinced he can hit batting practice.
It's been rough for him. I don't want. He's a young kid. He's like worked his tail off in the minors. He's the consummate 4A guy.
He is a good baseball player. He's just not a good major league baseball player. And there is a difference. Like, he has won a AAA, I think, MVP and Triple Crown, if I'm not mistaken. He can play baseball. He just is not a good major league baseball player. There is a difference. All right, let's get into some rehab stuff real quick, Jeff, because we have draft stuff we want to get to in the next segment. So Travis Bazzana has now played 3 rehab games in Arizona, 2 at second base. He DH'd on Tuesday night. So he played 5 innings on Monday. He at second base. He DH'd on Tuesday, so that's good news. Unfortunately, on the other side of this, Juan Brito was on the IL, the hamstring strain. So I really wanted Juan. I said not that it matters. He could have pulled his hamstring in Cleveland either way. But I said after he got off the IL from his rehab of his thumb issue, I wanted Juan Brito in Cleveland because I would rather have him than Will Wilson, even though Brito is a horrible defender. This team needed offense and. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how serious. Yeah, it stinks for Brito because he's ready. He is ready. But again, I want to make it clear because people keep having this issue. He could have pulled his hamstring in Cleveland too.
Yeah,
like if he was running to first base and he pulled it, he was going to pull it no matter what. So he would have gotten, I don't know, a game's worth of at bats in Cleveland. So, and then Trevor Stephan. It is not going great. I know Stephen Vogt has said, well, he's getting close to feeling like his old self, and I'm like. Not as good old self because on Tuesday night he didn't get an out in Columbus. He gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 2 homers. He was throwing 90 to 93. The old good Trevor Stephan was throwing like 94 to 97. So he just has not bounced back well from this surgery. And it makes sense too when you consider the time of rehab. Like Shane Bieber was close. Obviously, Shane Bieber hasn't made a rehab start yet, but he was closer to making one before Stephan, which doesn't make any sense considering he's a reliever.
I got to throw one last thing in about the game today before we talk Manzardo. I just have to love the fact that Martinez hit a home run that was not in the top 5 exit velocities or distances. Gotta love those Houston-only home runs.
Was that a Crawford box grand slam?
I think that I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I do know that. I mean, his bat speed was even slow on it. Yeah, it's a home run in 1 out of 30 parks.
So same as David Fry's on Monday. So that was an insurance run on Monday.
Expected batting average is 110 on that pitch.
Yikes. Well, I mean, again, that's the kind of thing, like when you're going
break
good,
your way.
334 breaks.
Yeah, 334 distance.
when those things don't happen for you. If they were playing anywhere else, they wouldn't have won that game probably. So,
and then very quickly before we go into break, Kyle Manzardo being on the leave list. Hopefully this is great news. It has been out there and everyone knows that his mom has needed a heart transplant for a while. And it sounds like she's going to get that because of I believe an autoimmune disease. So he is there to spend time, and we're hoping this is just great news. I know she couldn't even leave the state while he's been playing baseball with Cleveland. So our thoughts, prayers, whatever you feel, whatever you do, go out to the whole Manzardo clan. And we hope his mom has a fantastic recovery. And when he comes back to the team, that's going to be one weight off of his shoulders, hopefully.
Yeah, that could be a big thing for sure. I think people forget often that these players have stuff going on off the field that could distract them on the field and other things going on. All right. We'll talk about the high school hitters to know in the MLB draft. Could the Guardians take a high school hitter in the first round, or how many will they take in this draft overall? We'll talk about that next. Summer sports are in full swing. Whether you are all about baseball under the lights, the Guardians are on a winning streak now. Golf on the green, lots of good stuff going on, or high stakes soccer action. FanDuel is the best way for you to make the game more exciting responsibly. If you're already following the action, whether it's Guardians, whatever you're into during the summer, make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel. You can get in on the game while your friends are out getting sunburned at the beach, so you have a chance to make some money. Your friends can go out there and do something really stupid too, and sit under the sun for way too long. I was looking at the line for the Guardians on Wednesday in the finale. It is Slade Ciccone and it's Brandon Walser for the Astros. The Guardians are getting 1.5 runs. The over-under, I believe, was 6.5. The Guardians have been playing a lot of competitive games. I know they haven't won them all recently, but they've been playing a lot of close competitive games until the 10th inning on Sunday and then the 10th inning on Tuesday. So I'm probably going to say Guardians by 1.5 feels like a good play. And I'll take the over because the Astros offense has been really good. The Guardians are getting it going, such that they hit another Crawford box home run. So that's where I'm going with things. If you are new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $100 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, Jeff, let's talk draft. We are, 5 days away from the draft now? I know that's...
Don't.
Every day I bring it up, Jeff's like having a convulsion over how many days.
I got 26 more videos to do. I mean, I guess I could be lazy. They said 35 to 40. I could just do 35, but you know me, I'm going to end up doing 40.
Yeah, so every time, I'm going to start counting by hours to see if that makes you break out in hives.
You're just going to make me even worse. I've got 26 more to go. Why don't we start with the guy you and I both love, the guy we teased yesterday in the show?
Yes, the Taitn.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's
Taitn, I believe.
I think it's Taitn. I want to go with Taitn. Taitn sounds more fun.
I will say Taitn Gray is a ton of fun. They did go to Iowa last year for Joey Oakey. Yeah. And Taitn Gray.
Probably saw them while they were out there.
I don't know. I don't know if they're close or not. It's Taitn Gray's he's not been like the biggest name throughout this process. I would even say arguably he's a bit of a pop-up guy, but he's exactly the type of guy who should go to the MLB draft combine. Like for most players, it's a net loss because you show up and you're doing it in such a sanitized environment, it doesn't matter. So unless you are at the top end of it, you're going to probably hurt your value. There's just no value to it. And the thing is, all Gray did was he's a 6'5" switch hitting catcher who's probably going to play outfield, who murdered baseballs. I mean, those baseballs had families, and now those families are gone with the way he killed those baseballs. I mean, everything. For people who want a power hitter, this is the guy. I think he's better from the left side.
Power hitter at that.
Yes, but I think he's better from the left side. If we're being honest, I know people don't want to hear that, but I think
is good. Which is fine.
It is good.
What you
want. I think he's an outfielder. 6'5" is just too big for a catcher, but like he's a ton of fun. Honestly, here's the thing.
This is not your favorite demographic.
It's not. But he's so much fun. Like he's big and strong, and like there's still more growth potential. And he's a decent athlete. Like he's an average runner in spite of all of this. It's like, if they took him in the second round, I'm ecstatic. If they took him in the first round and cut a massive haircut to come back and get a bunch of interesting guys with that round 2 and comp B picks, I'm still happy.
And the nice thing is here too with Taitn Gray, the bat, even if he doesn't stay at catcher, we think the bat will play in their position. Like
Yes.
that's still a good possibility. All right, let's talk another guy here. Let's talk another guy with power. You and I both have come around to Josh Hammond. I think early in the process, you and I were not big on Josh Hammond. I know I wasn't. I've had to come around a little bit more recently. Teams flipped on him a few months ago. He's been a pitcher and an infielder, and early on there were some teams that thought he could be a pitcher, but now pretty much every team views him as a. I think he'll get drafted as a shortstop, and he'll probably play
And that's
third
what
in the
he
pros
wants as well.
Yes, yeah, he wants to be called shortstop on the day of the draft. This is a guy who could be in play at 27, I think. He's an explosive athlete. He has a lot of power. It's a huge arm. He would be a draft candidate as a pitcher, but he's only 6 foot tall, and he's very inconsistent as a pitcher, but the arm is big. The power is big. I think the question is how much he's going to hit, and he probably ends up at third base. But I like him a lot, and I would not be against him at 27. Just it kind of depends on how the rest of the strategy plays out.
He's got some ties to some Cleveland guys because his dad is the head coach at High Point University, aka where Cody Allen went, and Jacob Kozar would go and catch there growing up and would catch for people. So there are some ties to the Oregon that way. So he is on top of like an explosive athlete. He's also has everything that goes with being a high level coach's son.
He gets high grades for makeup. We've heard really good things about him as a kid. So
I personally think he is gone before they pick. I think a lot of late data on him shows good swing decisions and power.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I would. That's why I said I'd be okay with him at 27.
There's some swing and miss, but it's like it's what we're seeing in the positive light this year. It's the being aggressive, but not chasing. It's the being willing. We see a lot. I'm seeing so many guys now who are passive, and
yes, they just don't swing, right?
Yeah, and that's not him.
Yeah. There's Slater DeBrun, who you and I both kind of like a little bit.
He's 11th on my board. Like him a lot.
Yeah. I guess you like him a lot more than I do. I'm just a little scared because I don't think the power is there. Like you're hoping he's a table setting center fielder, and I don't know, just the way the Guardians have operated with those. Are they?
Yeah.
Think he can grow into more power?
The EVs are there. He's got some of the best EVs in the class.
Slater DeBrun or Slade Caldwell from last year? Who do you like more? Because we both like Slade Caldwell last year. Okay, you like DeBrun more?
Yeah, he's not as maxed out as Caldwell. I think he's a little bit of a better defender, and a lot of the same data is very similar. I like DeBrun. And DeBrun's young for the class. He's also an age guy.
The other thing last year about Caldwell too is what was it, Alabama high school, which is not great competition.
I mean, DeBrun's Oregon, so it's not like he's facing a ton there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know which one's better. What hitters do you want to talk about? Who's on your list?
I was trying to very quickly think of who are the guys that like I got really into. I did like Dax Kilby. I think there's some James Triantos in that profile, but the other two guys that are pretty high on my list that you would consider maybe in that first round are Ryan Mitchell from Houston High School in Tennessee. Yeah. It's just like, I mean, he hits the ball with authority. He uses his body. He's a good athlete. I think he's going to be
Twitter and look at that swing. If you're listening to the show,
it's one of my favorite swings in the high school.
You got to be careful. Because Jeff, you and I always talk about a guy who has a pretty looking swing, right? And you got to be very careful when it comes to that. But I don't think that's an issue for him. I'm just saying we've heard people make that distinction before, and you're like, pretty swing doesn't equal good.
Well,
swing.
It's a thing. Like people like these like picturesque swings. It's like I'm low on Daniel Pierce to the field because I sat there and watched 10 minutes of video and I felt like he popped up 70% of the time because the swing isn't there. Billy Carlson has the wrong type of uppercut for me. Like if I say I like a swing, it's not because I think it's, I don't want to picture it and put it on my wall. I think it's a swing that's going to be effective and it's quick wrists, quick bat, and it has some loft to it. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Cause like that's one of the reasons you and I are lower on, who is it? A high school player hitter that everyone likes. And you and I are like, Gavin Feen or Fine. Same thing. Like people like him and you and I are out on the swing there. Who else did you want to talk about?
Jaden Fausk from Big Kid, currently hit over power, but I think there's a chance for plus hit, plus power in that profile. Outfielder, another Illinois is having a great year in this draft for prep talent. LSU commit, but he's got bat speed, he's got size. If you told me in 5 years like he ended up being the best prep player from this class, it wouldn't shock me. Wow. Because there's not a runaway in this class. Because I'll go back to Ethan Holiday is the top of the board for me, and it's like it's funny because Ethan Holiday and Eli Willits are like they're the same and different. Like one's Oklahoma State. Both have dads. One's well, I mean, dads that are like played in the big leagues and are now involved in universities. Everyone's got
They had to have dads at some point. Yes.
But like one's all speed, one's all power. It's like Holiday, like he's an interesting player, but it's like I'm betting on 65, maybe 70 raw power with his size and what he has now, but like average hit tool. It's average tools across the board. Willits, I'm like, well, with both being potential plus defenders. So it's like I don't see that like guy where I'm like 5-tool talent. Like I just don't see a guy I'm putting that label on. So it's like I look at Fauski and I'm like, there is a world where like that dude can handle center field or right field and be like a 4-tool guy, just not without speed. Like, and that being an average tool, it's like that's why I think that he's interesting.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Josh Owens is on this list too. He's a Jerry Owens kid who played for the White Sox. Yeah. The other two guys I think that stand out too are Brady Ebel. We've heard a lot of connections from Brady Ebel in Cleveland. He's also a coach's son. His dad, Dino Ebel, is the Dodgers third base coach. High marks for makeup there. Obviously a coach's son, so we know Cleveland's about to see him quite a bit. Question there is at 6'3", does he stay at shortstop? Does he develop power? I don't know. I know you were down on him as the spring went on. Coming into the year, I really like Brock Sell. I'm still in on Brock Sell. I know things were kind of iffy for him. I still really like him. And then there was one other guy we were talking about off air that I wanted to bring up.
I just think Alex Blair is fun because he's a 4-star basketball recruit as well as he's going to Oklahoma for I believe only baseball. I don't think he's going to play basketball, but he's a 4-star small forward, 6'6" kid. If you just want ceiling, Alex Blair is just putty in your hands.
Alec Blair from California, for sure. Nick Becker was the other one,
Nick, whose dad played in Cleveland's minor league system. Nick Becker's did.
Yeah.
So, got some
a lot of interesting guys. I do think Cleveland has a good shot at taking a high school hitter in this draft. I think it could be a college pitcher or high school hitter. I don't think they'll do college pitching. I don't think there's going to be a high school pitcher, but for them at 27, if I had to bet right now, if I wanted to go Luis Ortiz, I would go high school hitter or college pitcher.
Yeah, I think they're just going to wait and see who slides. I think like a year ago, I've said this off air. I thought if they had this pick a year ago, Ryan Waldschmidt would have been the guy because he slid. There's always interesting guys who slide. So I think it's very much a wait and see. I mean, why am I blanking on his name?
Cam or Fisher could be.
Cam Caminiti slid to the Braves pick last year, which was near the end of
Well, I mean, they bought him down. Yeah,
they did, but I mean, there were teams that in the teens that could have. We thought he wasn't getting past like 4 teams in the teens, and then he did.
Yeah.
So there's always some slides, and I think there might be more slides this year because I think teams are looking to cut deals. Teams, especially at the top, aren't feeling it.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow to talk Guardians Astros Game 3. Could there be a sweep? We'll talk high school pitchers. We've got other things planned like draft strategy, ownership issues. We'll talk about that sometime this week. We'll talk about front office and coaching evaluations. We just did one kind of on Stephan Vogt in this game alone. And don't forget, on Sunday during the MLB Draft, Jeff and I will be live streaming here. We'll also be live streaming rounds 4 through 20 on Monday.
Thank you all for joining us. Do your part. You know what to do. And go Guardians, go.